Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for a Talk Magic, and we have a Talk Magic today that's very rare. It doesn't happen very often on the channel at all. In fact, I think this is only the fourth person that's ever done this. It's somebody that's been on the channel before and is now back on the channel again. The person I'm about to introduce to you is one of the, how can I describe this person? This is genuinely the person that you're about to see right now has done more for the British magic community than almost anybody I know. He has helped dozens and dozens of magicians get their career. We talked about this in his initial interview. He's incredibly funny. He's one of the, if not the funniest magician that I know of. Sorry, Alan Hudson, it's true. He's incredibly talented. He's also creative. He produces and creates a ton of tricks. He runs the #1 magic theatre in the whole of the UK. And he's a super nice guy as well. I am, of course, talking about my friend, the one and only Mr. Mark Bennett. How you doing, Mark?
Wow, thank you. Wow, what can I say? Thank you so much. Well, they're standing up. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
It's true, though. I mean, I waxed lyrical about you on the first interview.
Thanks,
and, it's true. I mean, I know we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of new stuff. But before we get started and everything else that we're going to be talking about, I do want to tell people two things. One, go look at the previous interview that I did with you, because you really broke down your career. You broke down where you started, your journey to Pure Magic Bar, all the way through to where you are now in Bristol with Smoke and Mirrors, going through illusions and absolutely everything. That's a really cool interview for people to watch. But genuinely, what I said is true. You help so many people get their start in magic. This, the list goes on and on. Emmett Phoenix, Daniel Chard. I can name dozens of magicians who have regular work because of what you've taught them. And it's incredible. And that's ironically part of what we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. But, you should be given awards if by every, and I'm not just saying this, I'm not just talking crap. You really should, because you've done so much, and I see it, and I see you continue to do so much. Pretty much every single product that I produce, I ask to come to Smoke and Mirrors because it's a beautiful venue. It looks great. It just, the crowds in there are fantastic. You've built up a fantastic venue, and you're incredibly funny and talented as well. I mean, it's just annoying, really. But look, we've moved on a lot from the initial interview, because when we did the first interview,
did I have
down?
I'm just trying to think. Did I have hair, or had I shaved?
No, you had no hair. You just shaved it off.
I just shaved. Okay, right, cool.
It was a new thing, but we were in lockdown. You were sitting in Smoke and Mirrors, and the whole place had been empty for a long time, and we didn't even know at the time when we did the interview when things were opening up again. Like, we hadn't even got to the points, because I remember when Smoke and Mirrors opened back up, first thing that you did is you had screens on the stage. You were opening up as soon as you were able. And then, obviously now everything's back to normal. But when we did that first interview, neither you or I knew where we were going to be. We didn't know when we were going to be able to perform again.
No.
Things have changed in the last couple of years, right, mate?
Oh, God, yeah. It's weirdly, I know we had a little pre-chat before we started the recording. It's gone back to normal almost, which is, but it's hard to get that around your head, because it was so long ago where normality was, and where you were trying to build a business, to having this nothing business, to, oh my God, everyone wants entertainment business, and then back to, wait a minute, we're back to where we were a few years back, and now we've got to restart that again. But the problem with that is that cost of living's gone up, everything's gone up, and but you're still trying to give a quality service, and a quality product, but you can't say, well, I've my costs have gone up, but do I have to put up even more pricing? I have to put up the beer prices. There's not much I can do about it. I've got to make a profit to pay for the bar staff. But then when I'm thinking about my magicians who still have their own bills to pay, they still have to buy their props, and tricks have gone up, their living's gone up, the petrol for them to come in, parking's gone up, and all that kind of stuff. So and we all know it doesn't matter what it is. It always goes down to the consumer where the prices go up. It's the consumer has to pay it all. But they all think that everyone's making a massive profit and you're getting more money. Well, no, because we're in the same boat as you. Your prices have gone up, but our prices have gone up. And but I, you know, I've got to run this year and the same pricing that I am, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's weird to see that something happened in 2019 or 2018, 2019, where I'm there, and now I'm in 23, 24 trading year of going, oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you've talked about this, because I've spoken to a few magicians, both in real life and also comments on my channel. And there's a lot of magicians in all over the world that are kind of a bit freaked out. And the reason they are is because they obviously, like you said, had nothing during lockdown, during 2020, 2021, very, very little work. And then 2022, the new norm became just work coming out of their ears. They were turning work away, confident to put their prices up because there was just a plethora of work, because people were coming out of a lockdown. They'd had furlough for God knows how long. They had spare cash in their pockets. They were spending all of that money. They wanted to go and do something because they'd been stuck in the house for the last year. And then this year, it's not that it's plummeted, but a lot of magicians have reached out to me and said, you know what? I'm getting no inquiries compared to the year before. My inquiries, my leads, my bookings have gone down. And it's not, and I had this conversation with a magician the other week, actually. And I said to them, go look at your data from 2019. You'll find you're probably in line, if not a little bit up or around about that level because what's happened is it's gone up, but now it's leveled out.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are kind of just thinking that everything's going to stay the same as it was in 2000.
Yeah, staycation for me was amazing. You know, that you couldn't leave the country. You know, you had to go and choose places in England, and all of us, every city in the whole of the United Kingdom made massive amounts of money because people were staying in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, this is amazing. You know, this is, you know, our country's brilliant. But at the end of the day, when those £75 flights or £40 flights that you can fly off to go and see Matt Wright or go and see the House of Illusion in Spain, you think like, well, I can go down and see those guys and spend exactly the same amount of money on a hotel, flights, food, drink, that if I spent the whole weekend in Bristol. Yeah. And I totally agree with them. I absolutely agree with them. You know, last night I was in London to watch a concert with my wife at the O2, and the hotel was more expensive than the concert tickets.
I mean, that just says it all, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, I know everyone's got to recoup the monies they've lost, etc., and all that kind of stuff. But I think we all got that. We've all got those bits and bobs, and I could complain, I can do this and that kind of stuff. I guess it is what it is, and you just have to adapt to your business of where you are. So what I say to magicians is that you adapt. If you're not working on a Friday night and somebody rings you up and says, I've got a 70th birthday, can you do it for this? But you normally go out for that. What do? Can you afford not to take the gig or take the gig because you've got your mortgage coming up on the first of the month?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those lines of you're not devaluing. You can stick that little percentage down on there and saying, do you know what? Because I had another gig cancelled, you can do whatever spin you want to. Do you know what? You're lucky. You're lucky. I've got the company that just hired me have cancelled. I've got my money. I can do this show for you tonight for this. You know, you're not devaluing yourself. You know, I do agree in the lines of, you know, saying no always gets you more money because you become more wanted, you know, but that's only if you've got that facility to say no, that you've got that money. You know, don't shoot yourself in the foot. And, you know, we've, as magicians, as I say, you know, we've got the biggest egos, but every industry has an ego. And but you know, at the end of the day, GTFM, you know, get fucking money. You know, at the end of the day, you've got bills to pay, you've got children, you've got mortgage, whatever, do it. And also it gives you experience to perform. Absolutely. You know, and if it's around the corner, you know, I'm not saying if it's 60, you know, 6-hour drive. I'm not saying don't do that. That's just stupid. But what I'm saying, it's one of those things of, we've gone to that point of, we've had this little spark of everybody wanted entertainment because we didn't have it. We didn't have that live interaction of entertainment. And now we're back to it, and people have that choice now of where they want to go and how much they want to spend, and everything, the cost of living and everything has gone up. You've just got to look after that section of your business and adapt to it, and you can do it. You can, and just go for it.
Oh, yeah, completely agree with you. What do you do? So, because obviously you're in a great position that you run Smoke and Mirrors. You have your own theatre. I've worked with you on that stage. It's a beautiful stage to work on. And you've got your whole setup. You've got your music queued. You can just walk in, press a button, you're good to go. But I also know that you take bookings as a private entertainer as well, So what would you do if you had Smoke and Mirrors that you were scheduled to do on a Saturday night, and an inquiry came in for you as a magician? Would you take that booking?
No, if I'm booked in, if it's really far in advance, if it's quite like 6 months down the line, I can change the schedule. But no, I'm working at Smoke and Mirrors. I've got that in, and also as well, I go out for quite a lot. I don't see the point of, I have to, if I want to have the night off, I've got to cover my fee, what I would normally, or if I do pay myself, depends on what the week is like. It's my business at the end of the day, so I can either pay myself this or I pay myself nothing. But if somebody wants me to go out and do a performance, I'll say, well, this is how much I want, and they'll say, well, we don't have that. It goes, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to, I'm in a really good, I'm almost like the guy, that has a 90 grand, 100 grand a year day job, who's an accountant or whatever, and is a hobbyist. He can turn around and say nothing to any job he wants to, if he wants to, he can go out for, I'm not saying it, but he's got to be a good magician, but he could go out for 10 quid if he wants to. He doesn't need it. And but when I do go out, I find it really hard, because I kind of want my stage there, and I'm like going, oh, this is really big. It's just like,
too much space going on here.
Yeah, I was just like, I can just there's my props right there. Why is it all the way over there? I'm going to put some steps in on this show. I don't really want to do that.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, but I do go out. But I'm very lucky, I do pick and choose. But then I will also, when they do come in, and they come in via Smoke and Mirrors, and there's a little box at the bottom, so which magician would you like to see, kind of thing. And my magicians are all located, they can choose a magician who they want. And if they don't choose anybody, then I'll put it to my guys and say, look, there's a job out there. If you want me to quote, I am gonna charge you commission. But if someone's free and you want to take that lead, the lead is yours, but you do everything on your own. And most of them always come back to me and say, could you do it? Because they don't like it. And it annoys me, because I've taught them, and I've shown them, and I've said to them, and say, look, it's up to you, but don't devalue yourself. You work for they've come to the #1 attraction in Bristol. They've obviously seen a magician at our venue. So don't undervalue yourself, and because you are at a very prestigious venue, and you're very lucky to be working there, and you shouldn't devalue yourself at all. So just bear that in mind. Don't devalue yourself, but also don't be stupid.
But the thing is, most magicians, and I'm not being sarcastic saying this is just a fact from what I've seen, most magicians just aren't very good business people. There's two words, it's that old expression, isn't there? There's two words, show and business. They all work on the show, but then they spend no time working on the business. And the reason, a lot of people don't want to pitch a client, or they don't want to deal with it, is because that side of things kind of scares them. Oh, what happens if I quote too little, too much? What happens if I mess it up? What happens if I say the wrong thing? What happens if I do this, do that, do the other?
Well, this is the thing. It's like, for me, it's like, I've been in this business for years, and and when Paul Martin brought up his wedding MC course and his MC course, I bought both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what? And Paul was like, "Why have you bought it?" And I went, "Because you probably know something that I don't, and there's got to be something in there I don't know, and I'd like to know that kind of stuff, and I like to every side of any business that interests me, I want to know, and having that knowledge is really, really good to have that. And what I've done with watching the Pro Magic Academy stuff as well is there have been stuff I've like gone, yeah, I didn't do that, and it did add, a little bit extra to what I can put out because of what I wrote or whatever I said in that email or whatever I did on that side of it, is because that's something I never did before. And I was like, oh yeah, see, that's really clever. And that's what's great about this community of, that if you do speak to some people, you can take everything if you want and take it, all of it. You can moan at people or whatever, but somebody within that thread on that Facebook page or that group or whatever will have a nugget that is completely right. And sometimes that's where it gets lost. And, when you've got those people going, well, oh, great, you got a gig tomorrow, why have you not learned? And they've just worded it wrong. They're just saying it happens to be a golf club, or it happens to be a policeman's ball, all this kind of stuff. And then they just instantly, we go on the aggression. But I was speaking to at a gig, weirdly, at a corporate, I was talking to a photographer, and he was just saying, what's kind of like your group kind of like, and do you have Facebook groups? And I goes, yeah. And he goes, what are they like? And I went, what are they like? What are they like on yours? He went, oh. I went, yeah, we've all got them. They're all the same. I did a consultancy on an actors group. Same thing on an actors group. Christ, that's how that works. How could you act in that kind of, how does that work on Facebook? I don't know, I don't know, but it was just like, he said, yeah, you'd ask advice about a character or something and people just instantly attack you. But then there's somebody within that thread that has that bit of what you wanted, but you've left, you've walked away. You're just like, I don't want to deal with it. And I know, if it's me, when I'm going through it and I'm going through that thread and I see that thing, they go, that's right. What that guy said there is completely right. But the person's already left and you're just thinking, how can you stop that? But you can't. And moderators try and help and they do everything they can. And it's, all I would say is, if you are going to look for that advice and you are going to jump on Facebook and do those kind of things, is hold out for the course. And just read them without malice, or read them out without whatever they say. If it upsets you, move it up, and just look for the one that you're kind of, what you're hoping for that answer. And I think that would really stop these. Because if you join in and I don't know, we went off track there. I don't know. Sorry.
Well, you know what? That's what always happens when you and I start chatting. We go off track. But no, you are 100% completely and totally correct. And ironically, we're veering into a subject that we are going to be talking about a little bit later on, because when you talk about, I've got a friend and his name's Brad Burton, and he's a motivational business speaker. Is the #1 motivational business speaker in the UK. And he's got this acronym he uses, and he says the word ACE, ACE. Whenever you take a speaking gig, and the whole thing relates to a magic gig as well, there's 3 things that you need to take from that gig. A, assets, C, cash, E, experience. So if you're offered a gig and you're new, or you're relatively new, if you're offered cash, brilliant, job done. But if it's a free gig, but you can get experience, which sometimes you'll need to get better. There's nothing better than flight time. Then great, take that experience. But if you've got the experience and they're not offering cash, Another option is assets. And by assets, I mean show reels, I mean video, I mean photos, that sort of thing. It's very, very difficult to get a company to book you and be able to give you those assets, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that they have to do and things they have to put in place. So it's very difficult to get that. But it's kind of what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because you can't market yourself effectively without having those assets. But how do you get the assets in order to market yourself in the first place? How do you get the gig to get the assets in order to get the assets to get the gig? It's that chicken and the egg thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know from talking to you, you've had tons of people over the years approach you to work in illusions and smoke and mirrors and say, book me, Mark, I'm amazing. Sure, send me some assets. And they're like, well, I haven't got any. Well, no, I'm not booking you then, right? That's something that's happened an awful lot, yeah?
And I feel I've been a bad person on that front, that I didn't find an avenue. Somebody did say to me on one of the chaps, I did do an open mic night, beat the rabbit, or I can't remember what it was, like an open mic night for magicians. And we tried it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and it just didn't pan out. You know, I think the reason was we didn't want to charge people a fortune to see somebody testing out material and all this kind of stuff as a magician. But then people were like going, well, your smoke and mirrors, shouldn't it all be good?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what happened, is that people were coming along and, well, that wasn't very good. Well, we didn't get anything bad, but it was, the numbers were dwindling, and it was just like, well, this is not great. And one of the magicians, and forgive me, I'm forgetting your name, the chap who I'm going to bring back to what I'm doing, he filmed, I filmed it that evening when he did the open mic night, and he took that away and he's used it as a bit of a show reel. And it's not the best in the world, but there was something that he did do something with it, and I just thought, and it did slip my mind, and I should have pushed it more, but then I've got my business head as well, and I've also got to build up other shows to get to a price where I am.
Because for people who aren't aware, Smoke and Mirrors has got an incredible reputation that you've sweat blood and tears to get. I mean, you just look at your reviews on TripAdvisor and you can see
we've got 1,500 5-star reviews, and I think about 17 1-star reviews, and that's it in the 10 years that we've been there. We push for it, it's please. It's not working. Why is that not working?
It's your standing ovation, not there.
Why is that not working? That's really annoying. That didn't work. Oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. I'm
standing up for you. There you go. How's that?
There you go. I was all like, oh, that would have worked. Well, that didn't kick in. But anyway, right. So, stupid thing. So I felt that it is true. And a couple of weeks ago, a little nipper called Joe Pollard, not a little nipper, he's a 20-something kid, emailed me saying, I'm a really popular magician. I'm known for these tricks, this kind of stuff. I don't know, yeah. And I said, who, great, thanks very much. I did my standard email, I need to see a show reel. It's got to be a polished act, people pay this, blah, 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 blah. And he went, well, I goes, do you have anything? And he goes, well, I've got my comedian stuff that I did when I was doing a little bit of stand-up comedy and that kind of stuff. And he sent it over to me, and it was just like, it was okay. It was all right. It was okay. It was a lot of stock, a lot of, thing gags, but the kid had good performance skills. He was really good. So, and then he emailed me and I said, look, have you got anything else? And then with magic, and he sent me a video clip of him doing a podcast. I think it was probably during lockdown or something. I don't know, but it was just like, don't ever, I did reply to him and said, do not ever, ever send that. If somebody pushes you for a show reel, do not show this show reel or delete it. Honestly, just don't. It might be funny to you and your mate, etc. But it was yeah. But I thought, you know, the kids kind of thing. And then his final email, he came back to me and he goes, well, what can I do? I how can I get a show reel if I can't perform? Because the performance area says I need a show reel. So, and I always say, my old line was, well, go into your local cafe, say, can I do a show? Can I do this kind of stuff? And some people don't have that mentality. They don't have that in their head of how to put a production on or how to put on their own show and do something. And I just said, okay, next Thursday, you come to Smoke and Mirrors and I will film it with my camera. Bring your own cameras as well if you want to. That's up to you. There is limited space, but you can put them somewhere so you've got different angles or whatever. But I will film it with our theatre camera that we use. I did say there is a latency and lagging because of the internet issues, etc. But you will get something out of the bit that you're there. And he came down, and well, he first of all said, well, I went, this is your only chance, my friend. Honestly, I've never done this for anybody. I didn't say that, but I was just like, don't you turn this down, and I'm going to be really pissed off if he turns this down. And because I've actually offered it and I've never done it before. And he took it and he came down, and then he told me this story at half time. He'd done his first show, and I gave him a little bit of advice about that. You know, you've got a lot of stock. You need to expand that stock to make it fit you a little bit more. You've got some little gags that are you, but you know, some of them are just, you're just chucking them in. Gave me this advice, and he goes, yeah, you know, I've always loved this. It was when I first met Jerry Cottle, and I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, yeah, he came to Plymouth with his circus, and I watched the show, and I was like, oh my God, I was mesmerized. You know, I was just like, this is what I want to do. I was like an apprentice carpenter, and I went round the back to where the security guard was and where all the caravans were, and I just said to the security guard, he goes, oh, I'm here to see Jerry. And the guy was like, what? He goes, oh, I'm here to see Jerry. He goes, who are you? He goes, oh, I did some carpentry for him on the last tour. And he said, oh, anytime I'm here, pop in. He goes, oh, okay. And this security guard walks into Jerry Cottle's trailer, knocks on the door. Jerry Cottle opens up and goes, who the fuck are you? And he goes, I'll do anything. I'll do anything to do. I'll join your circus. And Jerry Cottle turned around to him and said, you're the first person in 30 years. I've not had this in 30 years. I know. And I was just like, why did you not send me that email at the beginning? We wouldn't have not had this thing. That is a brilliant story. And I said, in your next show, and this was an interval for going into the 9 o'clock show on a Thursday night. I said, you need to put that in, but you need to add a gag to it. And he goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, you tell that story to the audience. You tell that story that Jerry Cottle said, you got a job. And you know what? The next day, I was on stage shoveling shit.
Yes.
And I did say, no, remember, make sure you say elephant shit. You know, keep it circus. And he did it, and he went out on the list, and he got a good laugh. And you know, and then it was about a couple of weeks later, I just went, and he said, you know, he just sent me a little snippet of what he had done. And I went, well, there's got to be more, isn't there? There's got to be more people. And that's why I put the post out to the magic groups of saying, you know, if you're looking for a show reel, Smoke and Mirrors is here to help you. But you've got to have an act. You do need to have an act.
So let's talk about this, because some people might not have seen the post, because this is an incredible offer. And I think in part you've lost your mind, because you have been so selective about, I mean, the photos that are up in the theatre at Smoke and Mirrors, for anybody who's not been there, are a who's who of the magic community. I mean, you've got Paul Martin, you've got Alan Hudson, you've got literally the best of the best from all around the world and Greg Wilson's in there, Doc Eason's. I mean, so many people, Mark. And now you're saying, hey, you got a 15-minute act, my doors are open to you. I mean, I think it's an amazing offer, and it goes with what I said at the beginning of the interview, which is one of your primary things in magic is helping people. But secondly, you've also got a business, and you spent a long time building this business up and building up an incredible reputation.
Yeah, I'm worried.
So let's talk about it. So you're literally, for anybody,
I'm putting my business on the line almost a little bit.
Kind of a little bit, yeah, kind of a little bit. But
yeah.
I mean, I've seen, like, to give people, before we talk about the offer, give people an example. I've seen you take Daniel Chard, who is an incredible magician, an incredible card magician.
Yeah.
And has always had a great reputation as an incredible cardician. Never had a reputation as a funny guy. Never had a reputation as a stage.
He has banter. He's got good banter.
But I mean, it wasn't like a comedy act. It was he was good at like ad-libbing and this and that and the other when it comes to card magic in a close-up environment. And I've seen, under your guidance over the course of the last few years, and with Daniel putting in a lot of work, obviously, as well, getting to a point where his show is, his show is great. I've seen it. Like, it's a really great show, and it's a completely different experience watching Daniel on stage that is watching Daniel at a magic convention doing card magic for the boys. The completely different person. And I believe that every magician that's a close-up magician would benefit from performing on stage. I don't know what you think, but I've always thought the best close-up magicians are the ones that have experience performing on stage.
Yeah.
They approach close-up magic in a different way. You learn things on stage that you'd never learn in close-up. I go to multi-magician close-up jobs sometimes, Mark. When you've got those big banquet tables?
Yeah.
I always know the guys that don't work on stage, because they go over to those tables and they perform to 2 or 3 people at a time. The guys that have got any sort of experience, they just walk over to the table, good evening, and they just do a mini cabaret show to the whole table. And if you want to be a great magician, I think you have to learn to perform on stage. And Daniel's a perfect example of being he was already a phenomenal close-up magician.
I think he was very funny, actually, because because, well, how can I perform on stage? I don't know what I'm doing. He goes, well, don't forget what Illusions gave people was that when I started Illusions, it was teaching people how to do almost trade show. What you're doing is you're drawing in a crowd. And also, as well, I think it was Chris Campos came down, and he goes, he didn't know how to do a table of 10. He found it really daunting. And then when he came down to Smoke and Mirrors, and he spent 5 days at Smoke and Mirrors, at Illusions Magic Bar, he knew how to approach a table of 10 now, because he was actually performing to the people at the back of the audience and the people at the front. So he was like, so I'm doing, you're doing all of them, because you want that person, you're going to get that person involved in a minute. If you want them to do something, in a minute, you can walk around there, but your whole audience, they're all going to turn and watch you as you walk around, because everyone's involved in that show. And I think that's what Dan learned about at Illusions Magic Bar, that he already had a mini parlor show almost, really, and all he needed to do is bring it out a little bit more. But he is a little bit confused now, really, because all the tricks that he does, it's mostly mentalism. His new show, not one card trick.
That's insane.
Yeah, no ace. Well, I made sure it was no fucking ace routines, just put it that way. But it's just like with Richard Newman, who's been with me since year dot. He's, a lot of people, and Nemid will say this as well, is that it's Nemid's favorite magician to watch.
Every time we're anywhere near Bristol, he just brings up Richard Newman all the time.
Yeah, it's just, Richard's got a great Rocky routine, that no one's ever seen before. It's, there are the Rocky gags in there. Obviously, there's not much you can do about that, because it's Rocky, but he's taken Rocky to a completely different level of how he uses Rocky. And then Chris Smith, who's one of my close-up magicians, who pre-pandemic was one of the stage magicians, then kind of like took a step back because he didn't know how to adapt his show. It was too much. It was a little bit too much for him. And this year I said to him, goes, right, you're back up. I want you back in. And I'm going to put you on a Thursday night. You're going to go back in. And the only thing advice I gave to him, and it was Hudson who gave me this advice as well. He gave it to me and I've passed it on to other people, because Hudson noticed something, and we've been working together now for 9 years on and off, in theory, you know, at Smoke and Mirrors. He turned around and he goes, you swear more, as in me, when you don't know what you're saying, when you've got no patter. Because that's what you are, that's you as Mark Bennett, that's you. Yeah. And I was like, and I noticed it in the next bit. And I was like, right, that's brilliant, because I noticed with Chris as he swore a lot, and I thought he was just trying to copy me, was just trying to be me. And I said to him, goes, and I said exactly the same line as Adam Hudson said to me is that you're saying those words because you don't know what else to say. So find something to say in that section of your show. And I said that to Chris, and I let him work, not with me or Richard for his little warm up of getting back in. He worked with Dan, a close friend. They worked together on a Thursday night. And then I said, right, okay, on the 6th week, I'm going to come in, Richard's going to come in, and we're going to come and watch the act. So there's no pressure on you thinking that we're going to put any pressure. You work on it. We know what you can do, you know, and we'll go from there. And I came in, and Richard and I, we didn't speak until Richard had seen it and I had seen it. And we both sat there and we just like went, what do you think? He went, it's really good. The kids listened. The kids, and he listened really well. It's got a great little act. We just got to add on another 10 minutes so he can join our Friday nights, because he's only got a 35. We just got to add on another 10 minutes to his repertoire, and then he can join our Friday nights. And
right.
And I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, this is something to work on.
You must feel so like pumped when you see something like that, when you see somebody like Daniel or Chris come all the way through and go from here to here, and you know, in part being you know, you've had a huge part to play with that. But
yeah, but I'm also as well, Kieran Johnson said to me in Blackpool this year, this year, wasn't it? Yeah, this year. We were sat in the Ruskin, and he turned around to me and he said, you were really horrible to me. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you were really horrible. You used to shout at me and used to be really, really angry and used to be really all that kind of stuff. And I said, okay, yeah, I probably was maybe a little bit too much, but I wanted you to be a better magician. And it frustrated me. Maybe I did it wrong, but that's the way I am, is that when I ask somebody to do something, and if it gets to the 4th or 5th time and you're still not doing it, I'm going to lose my temper. I'm going to get really angry. It happened with Chris, happens with Dan, happened with Kieran, happened with a lot of magicians who just like went, I'm out, and they've gone and they've never come back. But I want them to be a better magician, and that's all I want them to be. And Kieran became a better magician. Chris became a better magician. Dan became a better magician.
Nemid is another example. I mean, Nemid came from, you know, he openly says that one of the first experiences he had of magic was watching somebody in illusions. And, you know, he became an incredible close-up magician through illusions, and then through regular work at Smoke and Mirrors. I think his cabaret act is brilliant now. You know, you've, again, guided him through so much with that. And, you know, he's another example.
Although he took 4 weeks to send me an invoice. Fucking idiot.
Mate, don't. Maybe we'll swap some Nemid invoice stories at some point.
I don't, you know, it's, for me, it's, you know, it's one of those ones that you just keep going on and on and going, because, well, you haven't paid me. Well, no, because I haven't got an invoice. Oh, we got 2 invoices. Yeah, well, welcome to the real world, you know. And but you know, I'm proud of every magician that's passed through my doors, you know, and anybody who's got, taken away something or taken away nothing. But I would tell her, if somebody said that they never learned anything from passing through any of my doors, I'd call them a liar.
Mm.
You know, somebody would have gained something, even if it was me shouting at them, you know. Yeah. And it is, I just want them to be a better magician, but I'm not these, when I mold a magician, or I want them to be the magician, I want them to be them first. If they want to become a character magician afterwards, or they want to be a different style of magician after that, then fine, that's fair enough. But all I will do is I'll guide them to be who they are as a performer and who they are as a person, and give them material that will suit them, and it will be for them only. And that's where I am with them. That's where I want them to be as well.
Yeah, I completely, you know, I said it once, I'll say it a million times. What you do is amazing, mate. It really is. Which brings us back to the offer.
It is the offer.
I tracked our way
bridging
over
the gap. Bridging
the gap, which is, so you're opening the doors on a Thursday night to Smoke and Mirrors.
Yes.
And you're going to pay people a fee. I mean, I said to you genuinely, because I didn't really know about this deal, I wanted to speak to you about it because I think it needs to be something that everybody's aware of. And I said, I genuinely did, and you know, you can attest to this. I said, how much are you charging people? Because to offer people what you're offering them, most people would charge. You're offering them to come into Smoke and Mirrors, into your venue. You're filming them. You're giving them the footage. You're giving your stage over to them while they're there. I'm sure you're going to give them advice. You're going to be watching their sets. They're going to get a chance to do it twice. They're going to get advice from you, which is invaluable. And you're like, no, I'm not charging them. I'm going to pay them some money to do it.
I'm going to give them. I'm going to pay your travel for 50 quid. I'll chuck in 50 quid for the travel. Yeah, I'm not going to charge anything.
That's mad. That's mad. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity.
I'm a terrible businessman, aren't I?
But you're not. You can't be where you're at being a terrible businessman. You just can't.
I felt to myself, you know, if I turn around to somebody and say, you know, if somebody messaged me and says, oh, I want you to help me with my act, yes, I'm going to say, send me what you've got. I will look at it and help you out that. But of course, I'm going to charge for that on that side. But if you walk into my venue and you perform and you ask that question, goes, how was it? I am going to be honest. And I'm not going to, you know, lie to you. I'm going to give you my honest opinion of where I think it could go or where it should be, or really happy. You know, it was great. There's nothing I can say. I think just crack on with what you're doing, you know, but that's my own, it's only my opinion. You know, I can't, the audience are going to show you who you are as a performer, and I'll help you through that. You know, I'm going to open for you, explain to the audience that we're going to have an act on for 10-15 minutes. They're here, you know, they're going to do their show, and then I'll close, and then we have an interval, and then I'll come back out again and do the second half on my own. But they'll get to do 10 to 15 minutes in the first half to a live audience that are there to see magic, comedy and magic.
And paid there to see it, and paid tickets.
And they've paid to see a show. And so I'm not asking you to come in and say, right, Mark, I just want to test this piece of magic, or I want to test this. It's got to be something that you want to, you've got to have something that you're going to film and you're going to give to your prospective clients that you want to gain work from. So you can say, this is my show reel. This is, I was at Smoke and Mirrors. This is their website. This is, I've worked here. You know, I've worked at Smoke and Mirrors, you know, the #1 attraction in Bristol, the only comedy magic theatre in the United Kingdom. You know, I've worked there, you know, these are the people that I've worked at, you know, from you know, from stand-up comedians to Britain's Got Talent magicians, etc., and AGT magicians that have worked there. And you can use that, and you can use that, and you can push that to push your career.
And that's incredible social proof. That is incredible social proof.
And I just thought to myself, because of this little chap, Joe Pollard, of saying, you know, well, how can I do it? So I was like, well, yeah, okay, then I'll give you that. I'll give you that section of that you can do it. And he and it don't contact me because you want to test it because you've got a corporate client coming up. It's got to be something that you know and that you do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a venue for you to test. I'm a venue for you to that you have performed this in front of a live audience, but you've never had the chance to film it, or that videographer at the wedding never gave you that video and you could never get it off him, and or the bride and groom said you can't have it, or whatever. It's that point that you go, oh God, that was they loved it. Oh, it's great, that kind of stuff. Come to me with your act. Think about the stage size, Craig. As we all know, the stage size is this, you know.
Don't bring your illusion act.
Yeah. Don't bring anything that you put a. It's almost like, think about you're walking onto a comedy club, and you got to walk off with that set. Almost, you're quite lucky because you'll be working with me. I'm a very small section, so you will have a little bit more space that you do want to bring some stuff. But it's got to be, you walk on, you do your act, you walk off, I can carry on with my act. That's what you need to do. But if it's something a little bit different, whatever, we can work it out. We'll try and get something sorted for you, but you've got a very limited space of time. But this also helps you to think about your other career as a magician, of moving on, of like, I've got to walk on, do my act, walk off kind of thing. So it gives you all those bits and bobs as well. So it gives you that aspect of like, how can I do this in this certain space, or how can I do that? I will help. I'll give you guidance. But just do it. I was quite surprised. I think I've had 9 or 10 people contact me so far from the post, which I thought I was going to get a little bit more.
That's insane. This is like, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, Mark. This is an insanely good offer that everybody should take on. Like I mentioned at the beginning, Brad Burton saying, hey, you should get assets, cash, or experience. One of the 3. This is an offer where you're going to get all 3. You're going to get a little bit of cash, so you're not going to be out of pocket. You're going to get experience working at Smoke and Mirrors, and you're going to get assets. You're going to get the opportunity to use the Smoke and Mirrors name. You're going to have photos. You're going to have video that you're going to be able to take away that you can chop up. You can use for social media. You can use for Reels, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. You can do a lot. You can create a show reel. You can create longer. I mean, this is a ridiculous offer.
Yeah, it's Magic Macy, is it Magic Macy? 14-year-old
Maisie,
yeah,
I interviewed her on this channel,
and
14-year-old dynamo.
I think yesterday or the day before, and I've got to be careful on that one because she's 14. So from my side, it's like, right, I've got to adapt my act a little bit. So because she's only 14, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that's her choice.
So is there an age limit? Is there an age limit at all for the people who are applying, asking for a 10-year-old?
Do you know? Yeah, well, he's heard, and I'll tell you what, he's heard a lot more from you. So let's put it that way.
Mate, whatever you know, he's heard 20 times worse than me. I'll tell you right now.
I can't give you BGT standard footage, but I'll do my best to give you as best footage as I can that you can use it to progress your career, and also say that you have worked at Smoke and Mirrors. That
holds a lot of weight. I've got a mutual friend, Jay Blunt, who works with you in Close Up, and he's one of my gold members in the Netrix. So I help him with his marketing. And I say to him constantly, I say, right, okay, how are you using your experience at Smoke and Mirrors? Are you putting on Instagram? Are you mentioning their name? Have you set up a page on the website? Have you put on there that you're there, that you can see you on a regular basis? Are you putting your next dates on there? This is a huge asset. Use it, because very few people in your region can say that you are working at that venue.
It's because you Google, Magic Bar Bristol, whatever, it's going to still come up with Illusions, which is great. But Smoke and Mirrors is going to come up as well. And I do say to the guys, and as Paul Martin says on his Pro Magic Academy as well, and he does say this, and it's quite frustrating, it's quite nice to hear from other people as well. When you get this frustrating, is they say, oh yeah, but my SEO's not working, man. So it goes, why are you not pavement pounding? Why are you not knocking on those doors? Why are you not sending out those emails? Why are you not pushing it yourself? Why do you think Facebook is your be and end all? Because it's not. Facebook will only help you if you pay them, and they want a lot of money, and you still aren't going to get the achievement that you want to get. So it's you of like, yeah, but I see my business cards all thrown over the floor. So
yeah, all it needs is one for not to be thrown on the floor.
One person is going to keep that business card. It might take 2 years down the line, but then what happens is then it builds up and builds up, builds up. That if you keep going and you keep going, your black book gets a little bit bigger. That person contacts you. Like for me is, I consulted on a theatre show the other day for something. I read the brief completely wrong. Fucking idiot. So I read the brief. They said, I goes, oh, can you just tell me a brief synopsis of what kind of magic you're looking for? And they said, so it's Bluebeard. And I cut off from there. I went, all right, okay, Bluebeard, right, pirate. Oh, easy. Miser's Dream, something like this, something like that. So I went down, got to the production area, got there, and they go, so this pirate. And he went, pirate? I went, yeah, Bluebeard. He went, no, Bluebeard's a folktale of a guy who was a mass murderer, who was a philanthropist. He was loaded, but he murdered all his wives. Where'd you get pirate from? And I went, Bluebeard. And I was like, oh God.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I just thought to myself, right, I went, and so I kind of almost, I admitted that I'd read the brief wrong in some respects, but then I also turned around and someone goes, well, no, but this, so what? So then the actor then explained to me that he's a 70s famous magician in Soho. And I went, well, then, yeah, this Miser's Dream is something that he would perform in the 70s. This is a very classic magic trick. And he would do silks, he would do this, and he would do that. So all the tricks that I did actually envisage what a pirate would use in some respects, but it did fit the brief in the end. But then I found out while I'm teaching the magician some stuff, and I goes, right, so what we're going to do here? And he goes, oh, right, you do know I have no feelings in the tips of my fingers anywhere. And I was like, what? You can't feel? And he went, no. I broke my neck 20 years ago and I have no feeling here at all. So I turned around to him and I said, okay, so what we're going to do here is this is perfect, because if I taught this to a labor or somebody completely different, what I'm going to teach you now is they wouldn't get it, because it's all down to timing. Because what you will be doing is you will just be, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you just have to do this exactly the same time. And what I showed him first of all was that we're going to do a French drop. So let me explain how we do a French drop. And the French drop, you learn a French drop by actually taking the coin. And he was like, what? You take the coin, you put it up here, and you follow it and you take it. And then what you do is then you drop it and then you take it up, but it looks exactly the same. And he goes, oh my God, so it's muscle memory. He goes, yeah. He goes, I can do muscle memory. And that's where it went. And I was just like, well, this is great. this kind of stuff. And it was quite nice to teach somebody magic that understood muscle memory, because he had to.
Yeah.
He had to. And he got it. And I said to him, he goes, when you do, so what's going to happen here? You're going to, and the director sat there and I go, so you're going to do the French drop and you're going to put it up here, all that kind of stuff, and turn your fucking hand, turn that hand. There's nothing in this hand anymore, kind of thing. And he put it up with this kind of stuff. And he goes, what you want them to do is your spectator is to guess. A French drop is a guess. It's a 50-50 thing. If they see the coin in the hand, they know where it is. If they don't know where it is, they're guessing. That means it's a win for you. And he was like, what? Goes, go for it. And he did it. And I said to Emma, the director, and I said, where is it? And she went, guess, win for Triss, all this kind of stuff. And then they finally started to get where it was. And then I was giving them a little bit more, etc. But reading that brief was really could have detrimentally ruined my whole fee of what I charged them for the day of me being there. But what I did is that because I had the knowledge of everything else that I could do and actually adapt it, and I'm putting it in, when I walked away from that day, it was great. I loved it. It was just like, but what I can do for other magicians that will come down to Smoke and Mirrors is adapt to that person who's performing on that day. So it's not, I'm not going to give you performance tips because I've seen Greg Wilson, Doc Eason, Ramesh Raghunarathan, I'm not going to give you those tips of those people. I'm going to give tips that will help you as a magician. Yeah. That's where I was leading with that. That didn't take long, did it?
No, it was great. It was great. I mean, we took the long route, we took the scenic route, but we got there in the end.
Take the A342, shouldn't you? That's what you could have done.
So if people want to reach out to you about this, just email.
Yeah, it's mark@markbennettmagician.com for that. Right. Yeah, just
it's going to be on Thursday nights. And you're kind of planning on doing this on Thursdays in the,
Yeah, it's only Thursdays I can offer you this. Thursday nights. I've got a few booked in at the moment who have taken some dates. And I want to fill it up. It may not be with me, it might be with Richard. And if you hit with Richard has helped Dan, has helped Chris. He's amazing.
Somebody who's met Richard, he's amazing. He's
brilliant. He's really great. He won't be as harsh as me. He's definitely not as harsh as me. But he will be as he'll flutter around it to help you. But he will
same
help.
Message, but delivered with a cushion instead of a sledgehammer.
Yeah. I'm not going to be a horrible. Trust me, I'm not going to be a horrible person on the day you arrive. You've got enough to deal with. But I will be honest. I'm not gonna piss around and say, oh my God, you were amazing. I'm not your auntie and uncle that, will tap you on the head. I'm going to give you honest advice of saying where you're going to improve. And if you don't like it, fine. But, trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
Perfect. Now, that's an incredible thing. I want to talk about one other thing as well that you've forayed into since the last interview, which is producing magic tricks. And for the first time ever at the Blackpool Magic Convention this year, you had a dealer stand.
I did.
Right at the entrance. Like, that's a good... You walk in, you got to walk... Everyone's got to walk past you, Mark. It's not like you're hidden up the balcony in the corner and you got to go around the corner. You're there, front and center. First thing people see, Mark Bennett, concession stand, Paul Martin, job done. That's it.
Yeah. We were all there. We were the boys. It was. It's one of those things of for myself. I enjoyed it. I didn't know I'd never done it before. I thought to myself, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I had sleepless nights. I never get nervous about anything. absolutely nothing. I've never been nervous ever in my life. And when I did Blackpool, I thought, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. And I just thought, what can I do? What can I do? You know, I'm just going to. And then when I got there, I just thought, I'll just be me. I'll just be me and I'll just do what I need to do. And there's nothing else I can do. And I was really happy. I didn't expect how much I was supposed to take, but at the end of it, I was all right. I was quite happy. I got my little slot, and there I was.
And yeah, I mean, there was a buzz at the convention around a lot of the stuff that you brought out. But yeah, for those people that don't know, your drink deck and t-shirts have been a huge success. I've got a nice great petty t-shirt.
The drink deck, it's just awesome, isn't it? You know, it's just like, you know, collaborated with James Howes on this. You know, when I contacted James Howes and I said, "Oh, do you want to have a play with making a deck of drink cards, but they're branded like Cinzano, but they have magicians' names on it, Paul Zenon." You know, this is definitely my favorite. Ali Bongo, you know, it's just great. You drink them in the Congo. Alan Rorinson, you know, Max Malini. And what's beautiful about this is that this was actually his favorite drink, Tia Maria. This was his favorite drink.
Okay.
You know, it just happened to be, you know, Hans Moretti, you know, and it's a rainbow deck. But what's quite nice about this rainbow deck is that you can do a whole trick, the normal rainbow deck trick, and the standard classic, and everyone will just look down on these and just think that they are labels of drinks, and then you turn around and go, well, I didn't know if you noticed this, but actually those drinks weren't drinks, they were magicians, and they helped me, and then you produce the cards of where they are. There is some fun ones, you know, there is Hard Dick Insider. Everyone loves a Hard Dick Insider, don't they? And the thing is that Charles Dickens was an amateur magician, so it still fits. It still fits. And there is somebody here. Where is he? There's one. I got 70 quid for this. He paid me. It's brilliant. He said, "I've got to go in there. You better put me in."
How my bribe, I have no idea. No, I must be the only person that's bought the t-shirt. But you can get these.
No. Justin Miller just bought his, which is
really nice. Justin, that doesn't surprise me. But
it's, you know, it was a fun thing to do. You know, it's just something I've been doing for years, the drink deck, and I've always produced magicians that came down to Illusions Magic Bar. They always got a t-shirt, etc. Paul Zenon still hates that he's Cinzano. Goes, well, you put the Z in your name, mate, so not much I can do about it, you know. And
but you can get those decks.
The first one was Leave It to Beaver, was because the banner that I did for Leave It to Beaver did look like a kid's trick. I had a lot of kids magicians coming up and saying, "Oh, what's Leave It to Beaver? That looks really good." And I went, "Oh, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm a kid's instead." He goes, "Yeah, it's not for you. It's not for you. You could do it, you know. You could if you
never work again."
Yeah, you're not gonna get much work after doing Leave It to Beaver, but I love performing it. You know, I can't. The only times I can't do it is when Richard performs his Rocky routine, because it's a similar, you know, it's a card to Beaver. Well, it's a card to Animal, and Richard's is, you know, it's a unique, funny routine, etc. And when fighters came on afterwards, it would blow his out of the fucking water. It's shit. I'm kidding. No, it's just that it's card ends up somewhere. But you know, and and I've been forming this about 15, 16 years, you know, Leave It to Beaver. And I had these specifically made that you can have, you know, you can dump a card into the tail. So it's a signed card to Beaver. And yeah, it's not, you could do it as a kid, but you'd have to make up your own whole routine. I'm not going to give you that. It's not in my routine. And obviously the tricks that I collaborated with Matthew, which was, you know, the Queen's Nose, and obviously what we've just released is the King's Secret,
which set the world on fire, Mark. The King's Secret.
Yeah, those coins got better, didn't they? Hey, those coins got better.
The coins, look, the coins are awesome. The coins are so good. And Birdie told me that you're the only person now that sells the deluxe set, right? You're the only person.
I'm the only one with the deluxe set. And with my deluxe set, I've added a Noble 52 membership card, which is in the pack of cards as well, if you still want to use. But this one says Noble 52. You get these with mine, with my special editions. It's a metal card. Some of them might be black, some of them might be gold. It's a gamble what you get. I might sell them on the website. I don't know, but you know, let me know when you're ordering, and I can say you can have a gold or a black, or whatever. So it's and I might see what I can do for you. But
can you get Leave It to Beaver and the drink deck and the Queen's Nose and the Noble 50? Can you get all of that from your website?
You can, and I'm going to try and see if I can bring it up, but it looks like my Ecamm has decided to go.
We tested it earlier.
Getting the beat for the death on Ecamm. So if it's not, application's not. So if I might go blank. So I probably will go blank. 2 secs. I'm going blank now.
No, you're still there.
No, but I have got, no, I didn't go blank, but I've just gone paused, haven't I? There we go. So I should be back. Am I back? Am I talking?
Yes, you're back.
Am I moving? So you should.
Don't worry, I can handle your.
There you go. That's where you get it from.
There. I was helping. I was.
Did
you were off. I was doing that, but you know we don't need to because it's on the screen. So that's good.
It's on the screen. There we go.
MB
so you get that all from my website. That's my shop. I should put up, let me put up my, how do I do that? There we go. Let's put that up as well. So let's do my email address.
This modern technology is brilliant. No wonder you killed it with virtual shows.
Oh yeah, no, I did really, really crap on them.
Yeah, not everyone can be Alan Hudson, right?
Oh God, guy killed it. He jumped on that bandwagon at the right time, didn't he? So
yeah, he did.
I think, yeah. I am there. Yeah, there it is. There we go. And I can get rid of them. And I can bring them back. And that's
nice.
Genius.
Got the standing ovation as well.
I don't know if you noticed, but that was a show I did for Getty Images. So it was
a company to get a gig from. That's
impressive. Well, yeah. Look at it. It's right there. It's up there. Yeah, it's right there. It's right there.
You get all the best gigs. That's the annoying part. You get all the best gigs.
So yeah, just hook me up there. Let's move that down. That's right in my face. How terrible is that? There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
One on top, one underneath. Looks great. And that birdie tells me 2 things. One, I heard that you are planning on bringing out a sequel at some point to the drink deck. You showed me some very early artwork. I don't want to say anything, but you showed me some very, very, very early artwork last time I was in Smoke. Do you remember?
Oh, yes.
If I said the word beetle, then you might.
Yeah, no, yes. That is very early stages. That I've got 12 of those. That's it. There's another 40 to go. I don't know if James will join in me on that one. But I think it will be one of the t-shirts is up on the website actually. If you think what I'm going to be doing with the drink deck, you might be able to see it on my website and to think, oh my god, okay. deck.
Well, when you showed me the artwork, which was very early stages, it was like hand drawn black and white.
Yeah.
Images. I was like, yeah, that would be even better.
Yeah.
Than the drink deck.
I think it's, and also I think it needs a few routines. You know, Dan's giving out some routines, and John Carey has added some routines to the drink deck as well. So if you buy them from your Magic dealer, they're not with them, and that's my fault, because it was an afterthought. So if you do buy from your bricks and mortars shops, from Malakazam or anybody, you know, that your favorite Magic dealer, if you do buy the deck, come back to me and say, Mark, I've got the drink deck and I've bought it from blah, blah, blah. You don't have to prove anything. Just send me a message and I'll send you the link to some routines that John Carey, Dan Chard, etc. have put together for the drink deck.
That's amazing. That's great.
All right.
Very, very nice of you. Now, two questions with regard, well, three actually. First of all, you are doing lectures as well now, right?
Yes.
Can we talk very briefly about the lecture that you're offering? Because it's very different to a normal lecture, and I think it's something that everybody would be.
Yeah, I'm still working on my lecture. I think it's a good lecture. It is a good lecture. I do give you some good magic to do, but I talk a lot, as we're doing now. But I want magicians to be better magicians. I want them to be business people. I want them to think about that. It's not just going to land on your lap, you know, like Craig, you're a testament to of trying to find every avenue to help and put something out to magicians, but also as well to build your own brand as well at the end of the day. But what you're giving is something completely free. You know, it's, you know, what you do and what you put out and the content you put out, you know, you get those people that are assholes, etc., and we know that they're all out there, etc. But what is quite nice is that it's the percentage that you know that you're hitting that are making a difference.
Yes.
And that's what I kind of want to do with yes, you know, I create magic. Yes, I own my own magic theatre. Yes, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do your show reel, but I want you to become a better magician. Yes, I create content for magic because I know it's good, because I know I've worked it. But I also want you to not worry about the content that I create. Is don't worry about the trick, worry about your performance.
Yes. And
it's about you being the performer and not the trick. You know, when I receive some tricks, or when I see a trick and I go, oh, you have to do this, it's £700. Will you come and fucking do it? You do the trick next to me and I'll do the words. You know, that sounds too complicated. So like with Leave It to Beaver, you know, it's Palmer cards sticking in the back of the fucking beaver, you know, King's Secret, Queen's Nose, etc. It's a double lift and controlling a card. That's it, you know. Yeah. But the reactions that you get from this routine to my blinds routine. I lectured in Holland, in Amsterdam a few weeks back, thanks to Fritz, and I did my mind map routine to a live audience, and then I did it to a magician's audience for the lecture afterwards. And not one person, and even at Blackpool, when I had my blinds gimmick rotating on the table, people were just walking up and going, what did I just see? What? I don't understand how that wallet works. And they, you know, they didn't get it. And when I was lecturing it, you know what, it's something I didn't even spot myself. They were going, we don't understand when you peaked. I goes, well, I peaked all the time. He goes, no, but there was no heat on the peak when you did it. I goes, that's the whole point of the whole routine of the wallet, is that. But there was something that I do in my performance that I never really spotted myself, and which is really bad, but it really makes sense. And it was this. So I'd have my peak here, and I would do my kind of chat here, and as I turned it, and I would look the opposite way as I turned it and put the wallet down, or just turned it over and go to get my pad and pen and come back. But when they looked at the wallet again, all they saw was a credit card. And all they saw was this credit card, and that's all they saw. But it was this turn of me just going from here to popping it down and looking. And I was like, and they went, we had no idea. And then I did mind map, and everyone was like, oh my God, how does that work? And I was like, you've got to work it. You've done it. It's great. It's fun, isn't it?
It's amazing. I still say to this day, I've never seen, and I've seen a lot of magic, a lot of mentalism. I review thousands of tricks. Genuinely, Mark, I've never seen a better way and a more entertaining and engaging way to reveal a peaked piece of information than using your mind map routine ever.
I had so much fun with it.
As good as the blinds wallet is, and it is good, and I gave it a great review, and I believe it's an amazing wallet. As good as it is, it's the best part of it is the fact that you teach the mind map routine. And if you just release that as a download, that would be worth the price on its own.
Yeah, in my tutorial, I kind of like dismiss it in some respects, and because I don't know if people will like it or not, and I don't know if people like the magic that I do and what I like to perform, because I like to perform more than I do the magic, because I want people to go away that they feel entertained, and when they come back, that they don't remember what they saw, but they felt they got the magic, but they don't remember what the magic was, but they were just like in awe of, they were wowed and they were entertained. That I said to a magician the other day, he put up a show that he was repeating a show. We had such a great response, people asking when we're going to put on the next show. So here's the date. And somebody wrote in the comments, says, is it the same show? And he replied saying, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. And he was kind of like dilly-dallying around it and everything. And I went, never to say no. Because, or reply, say, what tricks did you see? They ain't going to remember. There's no way they're going to remember. They might remember the big finale or whatever. If you've got a big finale, they'll remember that. But they're not going to remember anything of that show, of what the tricks are, because, and they're also going to bring somebody else that wasn't with them on the first time they saw it. So why ruin it for that person? And it's like the mouse. I think Matt Wright's done the best ever reply for a review. Somebody said, oh, it was the same show I saw 2 years ago. Yeah, the Mousetrap's been going for 52 years. It's a show. I don't, and for Matt, I knew that basically in those 3 years, Matt had changed like loads of little bits and bobs and little small bits in it to make it better. But that guy just thought it was the same show, but that's what the Mousetrap hasn't changed. No. So what? It's a show. You don't have to do that to extend your performance side and all that kind of stuff. It's about your performance of giving them full-blown entertainment, and that's what it's all about. It's entertaining them. It's not about what's the next thing that's going to make you famous and all that kind of stuff. That trick needs to suit you and you being that great performer. And that's what it's all about. Not like, oh, but I can do this, and I spent £7,000 on this. It goes, well, I hope it suits you.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. I totally agree. For anybody who wants to book the lecture, you are available worldwide for lecture bookings, and they can go to mb-magic.com. Absolutely. And I haven't seen your lecture yet, but obviously I've had a lot of advice over the years from you, and I've appreciated all of it gratefully, and I know that it's going to be a great lecture, and I do want to watch it very, very soon.
There is one trick that we're going to collaborate on that's coming out, and a few people have seen snippets of it.
Yeah, that was what I was moving forward into now.
Yeah.
What's coming up from MB Magic, you know, because
we got Get Smarty. I've teased Get Smarty.
Yeah, but you've had the Blinds Wallet, huge success. Drink Deck, huge success. The Beaver Routine, limited release.
It's gonna have another re-release.
That's good.
I've got two left, and that's it.
People were talking about it all over Blackpool. Everything that you've brought out has been gold. I know that you're working on other routines. Get Smarty. I don't know what we're allowed to say about it, but
no, we can do it. It's any shop, any small object to
Smarties.
And it's great. It's
one of those routines, Mark. And the reason, and first of all, I'm honored to be a part of it. You know, I'm going to be a part of it in a capacity which is amazing, because I think it's brilliant for the second you showed it me. And one thing I love about it is its versatility. It's great for a close-up worker. It's great for a strolling performer. It's great for a table hopper. It's great for somebody who works on stage. I know you've been putting it through its paces and then some on stage.
Yeah.
It's great for a kids show performer because it's smartest. You can do impossible location to it. You can do predictions. You can do transpositions. You can do teleportations. I've been working on multiple routines with this gimmick, and it's so much more versatile than here's an object, it goes into a Smarty canister. There's so much more you can do with it than
there's a lot of gags with it as well. You know, it's something that I was kind of like, what can I do with an old idea that I couldn't do? And that was the issue. I had an idea of from Mark Leverage, and I thought, oh my God, what could I adapt this thing from Mark Leverage? But I couldn't adapt it. And it will all be explained when the trick comes out completely, why it couldn't be adapted. But it spurred something of like, oh, but could I do this? And it's having a lot of fun. I am lecturing it. It is out there with the lecture with me at this moment of time, but there's no instructions with it at all. So what you see in the lecture is what I do with it. That's it. So it's raw. It's very raw. I'm not releasing it until it's absolutely, you know, with Blinds, it was my first ever release on my own completely. And there was mistakes that I made with it, but I still believe in this product massively. I still use it. And every time, and even at Blackpool, when I had it, and I thought, how can I dem this to people at Blackpool, to magicians? And I thought to myself, do you know what? I've got it. How I did my video teasers in some respects for my show reels, for sending it out to magicians saying this is Blinds, of getting the same reaction that I said to every magician that came in and saw it. I turned the wallet to see the peak, and I did that to every single customer. And I think my best comment was Steve Mulhern walked through the auditorium as he does, having a little look what he can do, and I said, I pulled him over and I said, this is Blinds, blah blah blah. Did the peak, turned it, you know, showed him the peak, and he was like, no. And then he goes, and then I think his agent that he uses in his TikToks is the guy who winds him up, or he winds up his guy, and he goes, could you do the full trick now? And I said, oh yeah, well I am, yeah, okay, yeah. So I did mind map on his manager, etc., or the guy that's with him, and they walked off all happy, and I thought it was really great, and I thought, okay, great, no sale, brilliant. And the next morning I'm all set out like that. Steve Mulhern walked straight as a beeline, walked straight over to my table, and he goes, I didn't sleep. Did not sleep. All I kept thinking is that wallet. And he goes, so I want one. I don't. He goes, honestly, and that it was just, it's brilliant. All this kind of stuff. And he goes, oh, thanks very much. Cheers.
That's amazing.
It's £45.
I think he's good for it. I think he's good for it.
And obviously, you know, with Get Smarty, if you do have a little look, Magic Sings had a little test run with it with Gangster Granny. Is it not Gangster Granny? Rap Granny or Gangster Rap. I don't know, it's a Granny Rap or one of those. Don't know. It's all fandangled stuff for me. I don't know. But yeah, he's had a little play with Get Smarty on his social media. Got good feedback as well. It's a perfect routine for weddings, for any situation really. You know, I'm not going to blurt out about all the close-up magic it can be done with, because I'm not a close-up magician anymore, and I will state that. And that's why I've collaborated with you to help me out on this close-up side of it, of where it could go and how it could work.
On my mind,
I don't want to release something that people will go, but you can do whatever you want with it. You should. I think one guy said to me, he goes, can you get a mini Sharpie in it? And yeah. And he goes, good, I'll have one. And I goes, well, it's not released yet. He goes, good, I'll still have one. I'm like, what? Then he walked off. And I was like, what's he going to do with that? What's he going to do with that? What's he going to do with that? What's he going to do? I'm really excited. It's like, I've come home and I'm going on. I have no idea what that's going to do. What's that going to do? So, yeah.
I don't have a clue either. That's amazing. I don't know. So when do you think the release date might be? I know we briefly...
Obviously, it's in production. The box is being made at this precise moment in time. So once you and I will receive the first lot ourselves, so we can have the actual product that we have to play with, hopefully in the next month or so, maybe. But then we've got to work it, and we've got to knuckle it down and get it ready for everybody to this. You know, what I've got at this precise moment of time is something that I can use, that I can work with at this precise moment of time. But there's some bits and bobs. But let's say Blackpool. I would say it's going to be released Blackpool, I think.
What a Blackpool release. It has the potential to be tricky the convention. I'm not just saying that.
I will say the only thing is obviously I know you've got American viewers here, and most of my releases, except for Justin over here, Justin Beaver, is I'm an English release guy. You know, I don't know. It's kings and queens, etc. I'm an English release guy. This is a European release but we have to buy stuff from America to perform tricks that are only available in America. So, but we have to get stuff that we have to get shipped over here so we can perform it in England, because it's a great trick. But there is something that could potentially lead to an American release as well, but it's a European release to start with, and it's good. The feedback I'm getting off it is great.
Well, on that subject, one other thing I want to talk about, which is a little birdie says to me, obviously, first of all, you brought out the Queen's Nose. You collaborated with Matthew Wright, brought out the Queen's Nose, great success. Then the Queen passed away, and you collaborated with Matthew Wright again and brought out the sequel to the Queen's Nose, which is the King's Secret, and that obviously became phenomenal, sold all over the world, obviously primarily for the coronation, but it's a routine and a storyline that will be timeless as far as I'm concerned. Little birdie tells me that you're completing the trilogy. You and Yeah, the George Lucas and Steven Spielberg of the magic world are coming back together to do the third Back to the Future movie, where you're getting back together for that one final end to the trilogy, and this time you're bringing it and making it more accessible to an American audience. Is that
Yeah.
fair? I don't want to give anything away.
I'm not gonna say too much because I don't know where we are with it, but we have it's in production. It's going to be released very, very soon. Something that is going to be for the American market. I will say it's US dollar size, Morgan dollar size, but it's going to have a great backstory. The backstory, Matt's writing it, and we all know Matt's a great theatrical person with his stories, etc. And when we came up with the King's Secret, I just did all the designs and you know it's my kind of handling and etc. and all that kind of stuff. And then Matt's kind of has that little, oh, what if we do this and this and that kind of stuff, and it's just, oh god, yeah, oh, it's nice. And that's why I love working and collaborating with Matt, is with his little stories that he has of these bits and bobs that he adds to it. And the one that we've got coming up, it is worldwide. It's still worldwide available. You know, it's still going to be available to everybody. But
knowing a little bit about this is something that I would 100% perform in the UK. I would. I don't blow you low just yet, but it's
a western got a really good backstory. It's got the story fits, even if they Google it, the story's there.
Yeah.
So, and you can have this great little, it is based still on the Queen's Nose and the King's Secret, etc. Still that sort of handling for you as a magician is still going to be nice and easy. But with your story that we add to it, we'll just make this even better for all of you to play with. Wanted Dead or Alive will be available very, very soon.
Oh, now that is an amazing way to end an interview. Is that going to come out this year?
Yes, probably. Yeah, we hope so. Yeah, we hope so. Yeah, that one's a bit of an easier production to do. Get Smarty has been just it's just making sure that it's perfect. There is one that I've got coming up, but this is going to be a limited edition. Just it's a sole one through me. And I really like this, and I don't know, let me just find the right.
I don't even know anything about this, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, so mine won't be available. It's going to be a couple of years for this one, or maybe even a thing. But you'll be receiving your own National Treasure kind of, you know, the movie National Treasure?
I do indeed.
Yeah, so National Treasure.
Not just the film. They've just brought out the TV series. They've rebooted it.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've. Well, this is something just, you know what, by the time I brought it out, someone's probably already nicked it and done it. I don't really care, to be honest, but it's something I'm going to do. It's going to be a very, very limited edition, but it's going to be a box of tricks that is just all to do with the movie National Treasure. So you get the glasses, you get this, you get little tricks in it, you get all this kind of stuff. So it's a tabletop box that sits on your table, but you can bring out anything out of it and perform a magic trick with.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's just something I've just been playing with and
that'd be
finding all the bits and bobs for it, that you can have the glasses and all the bits and bobs that you can just perform 5 or 6 different little magic tricks, but it's on your coffee table and it's always there.
That'd be great for some sort of parlor show as well.
Exactly. So it can be a parlor show, but it can also be a little, you can take, I'm going to take that with me tonight and put that in your pocket with the little.
Magic and puzzles are linked. They just are.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Chris Ramsey as a perfect example.
It may happen, it may not. It's something that I'm building, but it is going to be so limited edition because the bits and bobs to put it all together is, yeah.
But that's what I like about you, Mark. You don't release magic for the sake of it. The only time you ever bring something out is when you believe in it. It's something that you could see yourself performing yourself. And
it will be performed, and I will, all the bits and bobs within it will be used and knuckled down as much as I can. I know, again, I will bring it out where people turn around to me and they said, they felt that it was rushed. It wasn't. It was not rushed. But for me to give you this gimmick for the price that it was, you wouldn't have got this gimmick if I had to go to a full-blown manufacturer and a molder. This would have been a $300 peak.
Yeah.
So I try to get it out there that you could use something that you could use without any heat. And the only heat you'll give it is if you as the performer. No one's ever, every time I've lectured it and they've never seen this and they don't know what it is, when I've said to them afterwards and I've finished the lecture, I said, where do you think the peak was? When did I peak? They would have no idea. No idea. When did you peak? And then you turn it around and then, oh yeah, but you can the lines were there because it looks like an American Express, black American Express card. I own a black American Express card. Do you not own one? Oh, you never seen one? All right.
Nice. Love it, dude. I mean, there's so much fun stuff coming out. There really is. But what I want everyone who's doing this interview or everyone that's watching this interview, what I want them to do is I want them to reach out to you if they seriously want to become a better magician. Because the other thing is, if they haven't got a stage show, but they want to put one together, you also are doing the work in progress session.
Yes.
You've got your magic club that meets regularly. I get down there whenever I can, even though I'm 2 hours away. It's the only magic club I go to, other than the Magic Circle. You have that. You meet up. You have lecturers, but you also have work in progress sessions where you're just basically there to help everyone else that's there and help them work through new material, right?
Yeah, our Bristol Magic Round Table at Smoke and Mirrors meets every so other Tuesdays. We've got a lecture next Tuesday with I'm gonna say it. We've got two coming up actually.
You just had Wayne Goodman, didn't you?
We did. We just had Wayne. So we have on the 13th we got Rich Relish, who's doing a mentalism kind of like thing lecture. And then we have a work in progress the week after at Smoke and Mirrors. And the week after that, we've got Wayne Fox. And it's 50 quid a year. And trust me, for the members I've got, Smoke and Mirrors funds this society completely. But it's the work in progress nights are so much fun. There's no, you need to do it this way. You should do it that way. Oh no. What you need to do is this. No, it's just like, what if you did it this way? Or what if, you got Dan Chard, you got Chris Smith, you got Jay, who's got this kind of like great little mind as well of like trying to make it a little bit simplicity for himself as well. You got myself, you got other magicians, about 6 or 7 of us, the 10 of us meet on a Tuesday, and everybody will perform either a stage piece or a close-up piece, and then we'll stop and we'll discuss it and say, so what do you think I could do here? And that's what we do. And there's no there's no like your shit kind of thing. It's fun. It's just basically, so, well, what if you did it this way? Or what if you spun it this way? And then they're like, that makes my life so much easier. And then somebody will give you that nugget, or if they don't like it, they go, well, yeah. And then somebody will say something and they will, that's perfect. And this little work in progress night that we do is brilliant because it helps you hone stuff. I've used it for King's Secret. I've used it for Leave It to Beaver, because I just wanted something that I was saying, well, I was doing this, this, and this, and then they went, oh, what if you did? Brilliant. Brilliant. I got a line. That's great. I've got it. Thank you so much for that. I'll put that in the show on Thursday, and that's in, you know, and that's what it's there for. It's to help people as much as possible to make you a better performer. So we have the Bristol Magic Roundtable. You can find that by going to Smoke and Mirror's website, and there's a Bristol Magic Roundtable form for you to fill in. You can become a member straight away. You get 1 free ticket to come and watch a show. So there might be a guest magician on, you get 1 free ticket. You get 50% discount on walk-up day. You get 10% off the bar. Basically, if you buy the membership, in theory, you get your money back within your first year if you take the 1 show and you watch 2 walk-up shows. You got your money back.
Wow.
And you get free lectures. So we do probably six lectures a year.
That's great.
Yeah.
So much that you've got going on. And there's another example of giving back to the community. It's like I said at the very beginning, everything that you're doing is giving back to the community, and you still continue to do that. And you've done it and still managed to create an incredibly successful business. It's great. It's amazing. You're an inspiration. I love you to bits. I'm proud to call you a friend. And everybody go to www.nb-magic.com and go check out the drink deck. Go check out all of the t-shirts. Go and check out the blinds peak device. Go and check out everything. And if you have any sway in the lectures that your club books, bookmark for a lecture. And if you're serious about putting a stage show together, or you have a stage show but you don't know how to market it, reach out to Mark. What's the worst that can happen? Are you telling me that you couldn't do with having extra assets and another show reel that you could use? Seriously, you know, everyone should bite his hands off at this. Mark, it's incredible. I can't wait to do interview number 3. I can't wait to actually come, and I'm performing at Smoke and Mirrors soon. I'm very excited.
Yes, now you're here on the 17th. Yeah, 17th.
Yeah, this is going out on the 10th. This is going out on the 10th. I'm performing on the 17th.
Yeah, we've got Catherine Rhodes on this Saturday. I think it's sold out. I don't know. Let me have a quick check. Check if Catherine's show is sold out. So if anybody does watch this, quick look. Wait. 1 ticket left, so you can buy a ticket. There you go. You can buy a ticket.
1 ticket to come and see Catherine.
Yeah, 1 ticket left for Saturday night. So that's Catherine. Yeah, no, loads of guest magicians. You can find the guest magicians on my website as well, markbennettmagician.com. On my shows, or we don't publicize who are my guest magicians, because we're called the House Magicians. So it's not Mark Bennett Presents, it's not this, it's just Smoke and Mirrors Magic Theatre Bar, and then the House Magicians Comedy Magic Show, and we have guest magicians. So nobody knows who they're going to get. Unless you were on BGT the night before, no one's going to know who you are. I'm really sorry, but you know, unless you've got a following, plug it yourself. If you're working it, if you have a following yourself and you're coming on a Thursday night to film your show reel and you have a fan base, then please publicize that yourself. But no, nobody knows who you are. I think it's Paul's opening line, isn't it? Thanks so much for all the applause for somebody you have no idea who the fuck I am. It's a great opening line. It's a great opening line. You know, I opening up, you know, for every show I do, Nobody remembers, you know, like, so what's your name? It's on the fucking TV, man. You know, it's just, you know, it's just, you know, I think a magician put up posted saying, oh, what a wonderful thing. A bride and groom have just sent me a gift to say thank you so much for me performing magic. And they sent him like a little hamper and it was like a little nice bag, but it was embroidered and it said to the magic man. I goes, great. They still don't know who the fuck you are.
Put on your name, literally.
They still don't know your name. They still don't know your name.
Oh, that's funny. That's
but
funny.
I will say, you know, I'm going to get to you yourself again, my friend, you know, what you do.
Oh, mate, thank you so much.
You know, what you do for the community, my friend, is absolutely amazing. And thank you again for letting me to have this platform to basically try and share and try and get a few magicians to, you know, send me an email. I'm not going to say every person's going to be accepted, but the people I do accept, you know, and if you do have a show reel that is a good act, you know, I book 2024 in September. So send me an email. There are limited spaces. There are people I always repeat book. But please send me an email with a decent show reel. And if you don't have one, where can you get one?
Well, we know what to do now, right? Exactly. mb-magic.com, markbennettmagician.com. Hit him up. Exactly. Mark, thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you next week. Do me a favor, everyone that's watching this interview, leave a comment down below, let Mark know what you thought. If you're ever in the Bristol area, forget about everything else. If you're ever in the Bristol area and you want to see an amazing show, you want to have a fantastic night, see some great close-up magic, see an awesome show, laugh your ass off, go and check out Smoke and Mirrors. Go and get a ticket. They're all on there. You'll love it. And also, best fries and best pizza in the whole of Bristol, like bar none. The pizzas are amazing. So just go for the pizzas. Yeah, go check it out. Go leave a comment down below. Buy Mark's beaver. He's only got 2 left. It's so cute.
Till the rest won't come in till Blackpool of next year.
So
I used to work for Aardman. Did you know I used to work for Aardman Productions?
No, I didn't know that.
I did. I know. Really? Watch. Here we go.
Okay.
Trust me, you play that back, it's going to look fucking awesome.
Oh my god!
I'm adding that to the download for people as well because it's.
You need to.
But it's.
Nemed's been playing with your beaver since Blackpool, and he loves it.
It's awesome.
I need to get one of your beavers. I need to get one of the 2. Put one aside for me, and I'll get it on the 17th.
Cool. All right, I'll hold one back.
I want a beaver. Hold a beaver for me. Just the name makes it funny. So leave a comment down below, and Mark will be back with another interview soon. But Mark, MB-Magic for the last time, www.mp-magic.com. Email mark@markbennettmagician.com. Leave a comment down below. I'll be back again tomorrow. It's Sunday tomorrow. There's going to be a Q&A, a Magic Live, and a review show special. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig. This is Mark Bennett. And thank you for checking out Magic TV.